that we don't make the same mistakes. Our telecom companies don't make losses on this. In fact, some companies in Europe and France went bankrupt on this. And the whole thing comes down to, see, I was just discussing with our panel members, the telecom is a very unique thing. It is both a product of technology, it's a technology product and a consumer product. It straddles both the area of almost close to FMCG consumer product and very close to, because today 95% of products are prepaid, which are sold through pawn shops. So it's only 5 to 7% is postpaid. So it's both a consumer product and a technology product. And third dimension is highly regulated, government regulated product. So in order to ensure that we don't make the same mistakes which companies in Europe and in Southeast Asia made and lost a lot of money and led to a lot of leverage, borrowing money, that in India we have a smooth entry of 3G will be a focus of, I think should be a focus on innovation. That what can we do to ensure that the license fee is a given. We can't change it because government, out of its desire to meet its deficit, it is a kind of a tax on the consumer. It's 45,000 or 60,000 crores. So that's a given. Now in that situation, how 3G can be introduced, marketed, innovated in a manner in which it is profitable to all stakeholders. And who are the stakeholders? I'll just take 1 minute. Stakeholders are telecom companies, government, application developers, large number of hardware and equipment suppliers. I think it has to be a win-win situation where everybody makes. Just one last word. In India, the application developers till now have got wrong end of the stick. How many application developers are here? Has anybody felt that you got a fair deal from telco or anybody else? Yes or no? No. Right? So everybody, the application developers have got a wrong end of the stick. First thing is the telco wants it free, or telco wants to be paid because big honor that you have been selected as an application developer. Then it wants it, if you don't agree, they want it at throwaway price, otherwise they wanted 50% discount. Or so that is the kind of thing. So application developers have been slogging for years without seeing significant money in the end. That scenario has to change because 3G success will develop in developing customized, relevant applications for the Indian consumer. I don't know, did you see Mr. Kohli, the Bharti Airtel CEO statement that the current almost 10% growth is coming from rural and semi-rural areas? Did you see that statement? Day before they produced a very good results. He came on CNBC and said. So the whole scenario has changed. There is going to be a role for Indian languages. You need application relevant for Indian consumers in metro, urban areas. So it's a totally different ball game. What has succeeded in France or Switzerland and Hong Kong may not work well. Some of the things will work well. So I think our panel will address on both these aspects on how all the stakeholders can benefit from 3G and when, and how the application developers and how the innovations which are relevant for Indian market and Indian consumer could make 3G a grand success. And I think everybody has very high stake. Those few words I will hand over to panel. As I said, the format is we'll start clockwise. So can we start with inputs from the panel members?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I am Arun Gopinath and I represent Nokia Siemens Networks. So I will try and bring into this discussion the point of view from the infrastructure vendor side. Okay, if you see today the status today in India of the wireless market, we've got 400 million subscribers and it's growing. Already having reached tele densities of maybe around 35%. What we're also seeing is India is coming up with a young demographic, more and more young people who can, afford to invest in wireless services. And what we are seeing, as was already pointed out earlier, is that there's a lot of interest in these services in the rural markets, where there's expected to be a lot of growth. At the same time, it's interesting to see in the recent months that though there are a good number of users coming in and going mobile, the ARPUs are kind of declining, and so is the minutes of usage. So I think in India, everybody has to be very conscious of the fact that people want services, but they like it for free, or they like to pay very little for it. So what is it that the operators who will be enabling these services for the markets want to do? They would like to provide the best services to as big part of the population as they can. They would like to provide high quality of services with fewer call drops, with enhanced speeds, with minimum, breaks in your internet connectivity and so on. And perhaps they're kind of looking at models wherein they can, for example, promote flat fee plans and so on. These are becoming very popular in the West. The other major thing from the operators is once they set up their networks, they would like to make the best and the most efficient return on investment from it. As was already pointed out, they would have to spend huge amounts in just getting the spectrum, and once they have spent so much, they have to recover it, and they have to make money out of it. So what is it that is expected of the infrastructure vendors? 3G does provide an opportunity to provide to the whole population some really exciting services. What is required of the infrastructure vendors is to come up with network architectures and products and solutions which provide an enhanced wireless experience with high quality of service. What they need to do is to come up with network infrastructures which will allow operators to invest and make back their money in a reasonable amount of time, which means that they have to come up with solutions which, for example, look into areas like enhanced spectral efficiency. So once you build a network in a particular site, you're able to utilize the spectrum to the maximum to serve as many subscribers as possible in that time. So, with one base station, you're able to have high coverage.